Hello, it's time for another Gita video. Today's verse, it's just one again, is probably one of my favorite verses, one of a few anyway. It's chapter 3, verse 35. It is better to follow your own discipline, even badly, than it would be to follow someone else's discipline, even if you did it perfectly. Even if your own path leads you to death, it is better. For following the path of others is more dangerous than death. Now, why would it be that following your own discipline, that is to say, your own inner discipline, we're not talking about you just making up some set of rules, something like that, but it means your true will, that inner force that is trying to guide you, sometimes very much against your outer self's desire or your outer self's confidence, towards the path that is made for you. Now remember, the context in the Gita is that Arjuna, his true will is to be one of the greatest warriors of history, and to be a king, and to fight at the battle of Kurukshetra against his evil cousins that would bring the world into an age of unending darkness. And he doesn't want to. He's scared. And he wants to run off and be a hermit in the woods. So in the last verse, in 34, I mentioned that Krishna there says that there is some need to put the senses, the desires, to put these things under control, that there is some need to restrain these outer distractions. And one of the reasons is specifically to find that true will. In the previous video I said is that it is necessary to have enough structure, to have enough control, to have enough direction to be able to discover your true nature, your true will, your higher self, the superior individual, however you want to call it. And so then here Krishna follows up by saying that it is better to follow your own discipline, even badly, even if you can't fulfill that true nature to the very top, even if there's already too many obstacles, even if society is a sick society or a society that is oriented against what your nature is, even if you've had too many disadvantages, you've waited too long, even if you're too old, even if you're too poor, even if you're whatever, it's better to follow those disciplines than to follow some other discipline, some other path perfectly. And even if your own path leads you to death, that's better. Death is not the worst thing that can happen to you. All spirituality, all real mystical teaching emphasizes this over and over again. Death is not the worst thing that can happen to you. There are much worse things. For starters, failing to actually live, failing to actually exist, failing to actually be human. Gurdjieff, the 20th century spiritual teacher, he said that most human beings never actually become humans. They're just kind of automatons. And that seems a bit of an extreme view, but you understand that what he means is that most human beings go through a set of automatic programs, automatic directions that are based on all these influences in their lives, in the course of their lives, social outer influences that direct them to a certain way, and they never reach a moment, sufficient moment of what he called self-remembering to actually break out of that and to become their own individual. So even if that search for the superior individual leads you to your very death, even if you're scared that you're going to die if you try to do this, that's better than if you follow the path of others, even if you than if you reject your own true will, because the other result is still going to be death. You're still going to die someday, right? So you whore away your true nature for an extra 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 years of life. And then in the end, you're dead anyway, right? And the difference is the person that has followed their will has truly lived. It's not a tragedy for someone who has manifested the superior individual to die at 30. And it is a tragedy for someone who has never managed to rise above the inferior persona to die at 100, because it means that that life was useless. It means that they have wasted their purpose. So the more, and you know, it's not just one or the other. You don't, it's not a switch that flips and then that's it and you're done, right? There's a process by which all human beings can work more and more towards that. And that's what Krishna means by even if you fail to do it well, even if you do it badly, right? So at every moment there's a choice between following your true nature or failing to follow your true nature, between being true to the superior individual or being true to the inferior persona. And the more that you choose the former, the more that you manifest the superior individual, then the more meaning, the more purpose that life has. Not meaning in some kind of cosmic great plan sense, but in the sense that your existence becomes full, that your awareness becomes more vast. That's it, right? So now, how does all this fit in to the fact that Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna what to do, right? Well, Krishna realizes that Arjuna is not following his true nature because Krishna is an awakened one, right? He can see into this. And this gets into the tricky situation. A lot of people can't manifest their true will because first they don't know their true will. Before you can follow it, you have to understand it. You have to be capable of hearing it. And sometimes this means you have to be able to rely on the assistance of a spiritual teacher. So this is the real work of the guru. Any so-called guru that tells you, no, just do what I tell you, just obey me, just follow my way, worship me or whatever, that's not a real guru. A real guru's job is exactly being shown by what Krishna is doing to Arjuna here. He is challenging Arjuna's ideas. He's challenging Arjuna's assumptions about the world. He's opening his mind to something way past the dilemma that Arjuna is having. Arjuna's having this little dilemma in his head of what to do. And Krishna's fixing that by showing him this whole cosmic level perspective, this horizon that is way beyond what Arjuna could normally see, as a way to create this crisis in Arjuna. The job of a spiritual teacher is to create a spiritual crisis in the student. It's not to fix their problems. It's not to be the guy that they just worship or something like that. So the guru's job is to show you how to find your own true will. It's not to be the guy that is your true will. He's not the replacement to that. And that's what Krishna is doing here. Krishna can't do anything for Arjuna until the moment Arjuna accepts the falsehood of his persona and realizes the presence of his own divine nature. So instead, the job of Krishna, the job of any guru, is to haunt his dream, to pop his bubbles. And so sometimes some students can't really do that. There are people that come to spiritual teachers. The spiritual teacher tells them something, and they don't want to hear that because they want to hear something else that they've already projected in their minds. And even if sometimes they really know that what they're projecting is fake, and that what the teacher is telling them is true, they're going to insist on following that fakeness until such time as they get it out of their system. That's why no guru can change everyone. No guru can change anyone, really. The guru can just present throughout these moments of crisis that people can then choose to use to transform themselves. The guru is a catalyst. And so the most important thing is to test your own experiences, your experiences in terms of your desires, your experiences in terms of what you believe your true purpose, your true nature to be, and your own experiences in relation to the guru. I've told students at times when they've insisted on something. They say, if I can just do this, Swamiji, then maybe I can. And I say, well, no, you should. The best thing would be if you could just drop that whole idea, because I can tell you right now it's not going to do anything for you. But if you can't, then don't pretend you did. Don't be half and half. Don't tell me, yeah, okay, I'll forget about it, and then still have it nagging on the back of your head. Sometimes you have to go through the whole process and learn for yourself. And so whatever you do, pursue it with totality, because as soon as you start pursuing something with totality, then you quickly begin to discover whether it is truth or not. Totality generates a kind of truth detector. And so if you think that what you're doing is a part of your true nature, your own discipline, then engage with it totally. If you think something else would be it, then engage with that totally. Don't muddle around. Don't be half and half. Figure out one, follow it with a complete engagement, and then very soon you'll realize whether you were right or whether you were wrong. And then you can put that one, if you were wrong, you can put that out of your head and go back towards what is true. So that's everything for this session. If you like this video, please feel free to share it. And please check out the rest of the videos in this series, in this playlist. Feel free to subscribe to this channel. And if you're interested in spiritual training, then look at, in particular, the Yifa Society playlist. And if you're interested, contact me about joining the Yifa Society. Thank you.